what exactly went wrong for the Seahawks today?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong. First of all, I don't think they showed up. And you could kind of see by the game that they probably didn't have a great week of practice either. When you let up almost 200 yards of rushing on defense trying to stop the run, it's hard to win a football game. So when you look at Seattle, offensively, they're struggling. Defensively, they really couldn't stop them. They could not stop the Giants from moving the ball down the field. You see these receivers volleyballing the ball up in the air. When you have turnovers like this, you look at the stat line, you see Russell Wilson throws an interception. Well, it really wasn't. He didn't really throw the interception to a guy wide open. He hit the guy in his hands, and he volleyballed it up in the air, and it was an interception. So those are plays that when those happen, it's like, man, it just doesn't feel like our day. And you heard Pete Carroll talk about, man, it just didn't seem like us, didn't seem like our team out there. And when you're giving up big plays, giving up sacks, can't stop the run, it's really hard to win. And it just looked like they didn't show up.
Yeah, I agree with Rob there. And I think the interesting part of it, Michael, is when you look at, how Seattle plays, and it's kind of what Dan Graziano was talking about in the interview, is we're used to seeing them be explosive. And I think the thing the Giants did a good job of is limiting explosive plays. And, just doing that by itself, will give you a chance. And then, what Pete Carroll was talking about in that interview is the negative plays that basically just destroyed drives. And so I think that's the frustrating thing. It's a little bit just surprising and unusual to see Seattle play like that. When we're used to seeing them, with so many explosive and big plays, especially with their receivers. I would also say this, when the game, when Seattle had a chance at the end, we're used to seeing Russell Wilson with kind of some of that magic, that fourth quarter magic of running around and making plays and basically finding a way to win. Well, the Giants did an excellent job of closing the game out, of rushing the passer in that situation, keeping him contained, and oftentimes getting to him.
Well, let me give some credit to the Giants here real quickly, because they've won now 4 in a row. And as Dan said earlier, they lead this division, NFC East, which is not exactly saying much. But again, someone's going to win the division. Someone's going to the playoffs. So, Tim, what's your take on this New York squad right now as it relates to potentially winning this division?
Yeah, look, I think you're right. I mean, look, no one could have seen it happening like this. I mean, Alfred Morris, having his first receiving touchdown against the Seattle Seahawks in this situation. I mean, it's kind of maybe it's 2020. I don't know. It's kind of a bizarre situation when you look at this division, you look at who's contributing. Look, Colt McCoy just went and beat a good football team, with a bunch of, guys that weren't scheduled to be playing for this team. So, look, I think you have to give them credit for hanging in there, for kind of not flinching in the environment that they're in. Look, do I think they're built to sustain success going forward? No, it doesn't look like that to me. But that doesn't mean we can't give them credit for doing something that's really hard to do, and they did it to Seattle today.
Rob, what's your take on New York?
Yeah, look, I agree with Tim here. I don't think this year's the year that they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but this is a great building block for Joe Judge. Hats off to that coaching staff, getting this team at midpoint of the season to this final push here to be in a position to win the division. Yeah, okay, the division's weak, but if they can go out there, have some of these games where they upset some people, you beat Seattle, you go into the playoffs, and you might have a chance of catching lightning in a bottle. You never know. It's the NFL. You never know. You're talented, just like everybody else. But hats off to Joe Judge, especially in this tough year when you're a new coach. You didn't have offseason. You didn't have OTAs, mini camp, training camp. So in the start of the year, it's tough for these new coaches. Right now, you're probably seeing, a little bit of that chemistry with a new team and a new coach. And, they have a bright future right now, especially with the quarterback. I know he wasn't out there. Colt McCoy, hats off to Colt McCoy getting a victory. But, I think New York has a bright future, especially with Joe Judge as a head coach.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.